Australia Day tomorrow. You know, there comes a time when you have got to realise that saying sorry, even crawling, will never be enough. And really, who is this person who demands it and then just throws it in your face anyway? Greens Senator Lidia Thorpe is one of them. And yesterday confirmed again what I've said before. She is a hate preacher. She is dangerous and she is not fit to sit in Parliament. This is her message to Aborigines for Australia Day, a call to race war. She says the war is not over, so we have to continue to fight the war. Every invasion day, that's Australia Day, is a reminder that we're still at war. Until we have a treaty in this country, we will always be at war. This is such a grotesque message. I mean, right now we indeed have a kind of race war in Alice Springs, with many young Aboriginal men terrorising the city, stealing, vandalising, bashing, and by the way, not just bashing whites, but also many other Aborigines and particularly women. And for any politician in Australia to call for anyone of any race to fight effectively a civil war is just so shocking. Why is this tolerated? Now, for me, this should disqualify Thorpe from Parliament. Every journalist should be right at her, demanding an apology. They don't, of course. And for her to do this just now, when there is so much violence already, is so dangerously and recklessly irresponsible. And note, this is not the first time that Lidia Thorpe seems to have incited racial violence or vandalism. For instance, when protesters, most Aboriginal, set fire to the doors of the old Parliament House in Canberra, Thorpe tweeted gloatingly, "Seems like the colonial system is burning down. Happy New Year, everyone." She's also led a mob screaming abuse at our police, many of them women.
Criminals! What? You run us as criminals on this land!
And people who were there say there was an air of menace when Lidia Thorpe 2 years ago savagely abused Aboriginal leader Geraldine Atkinson, a woman in her 70s who's co-chair of Victoria's Aboriginal-only Parliament, in a meeting in Thorpe's office. Thorpe got so aggressive that Atkinson sought medical treatment, and Thorpe's own staff said he was horrified. Does Lidia Thorpe, a recent girlfriend of a former boss of a notorious bikie gang, seem to you really a woman truly interested in peace and reconciliation, in living happily, side by side, with non-Aborigines? This is a woman, after all, who's called her own white father a racist, even though he had children with Thorpe's Aboriginal mother. Now, a white man having children with an Aboriginal woman, that doesn't strike me as racist, it strikes me as real reconciliation. But Lidia Thorpe, now she, to me, represents only racial hate. And if this is the kind of person that we should please before we can celebrate Australia, have an Australia Day, then we're trying to placate the implacable. We're making fools of ourselves. Now, of course, Lidia Thorpe does not represent many of the people who claim to hate Australia Day, but she does represent enough. She's a Greens Senator, for one. That gets more than 10% of the vote. She's their spokesman on Indigenous issues. Her family controls at least 3 seats, maybe more, in Victoria's First Nations Assembly. That's the state version of this voice, a kind of Aboriginal-only advisory parliament. Her uncle Robbie Thorpe this week said, just like Lidia herself, Australian homeowners should pay Aborigines rent. He suggests 1% of their income. Lidia Thorpe's sister is a founder of the Radical Warriors of the Aboriginal Resistance, which also seeks rent money from non-Aborigines, although where all that money goes, I'm yet to find out. I think this sick theatre has gone on too long. This Aboriginal movement is being discredited by its noisiest voices. And reconciliation with these kinds of people, like Lidia Thorpe, that's impossible. We've tried, it's failed. So I think that's it. That's it. Draw a line. Happy Australia Day for tomorrow. Let's just do it. We've done our best to get along, and in the end, isn't that effort, a real effort, a genuine effort, isn't that effort what this Day of Pride is really about?